For months, Beastmaster has been the strongest offlaner available by far. He received very minor nerfs, and those nerfs barely changed his win rate at all. Today, I'm here to teach you ways to deal with this hero that is clearly OP. Whether you're a support or a core, there are ways to deal with him, but everything starts with actually seeing whether Beastmaster was banned at the beginning of the draft or not. This is important because as a support, you're usually forced to pick before the offlaner, and so if Beastmaster is banned, you don't go for the picks I'll suggest, since the reason they are good for the most part is that they counter Beast. We will start with the lane counters. Chen is amazing, since most Beastmasters now stopped going for Helm of the Dominator, mainly because of the gold nerfs, and they've been just rushing Necronomicon, and so they cannot steal back the creeps that you get as a Chen or Enchantress. Speaking of Enchantress, she's a similar hero in the sense that not only she steals the board, but she gets a 130 damage board that becomes incredibly hard to kill and to deal with.
Oh my god!
The reason support Clinks also started to become popular in the first place was the fact that the hero could deal with the boar with his big attack range and the fact he can eat one from time to time. Another hero that is decent versus Beastmaster is Witch Doctor, since his cask stuns non-hero units for a pretty long time, allowing your lane partner to constantly kill the boar, which, as we already established, is the way you can win the lane since it gives you a lot of experience and gold, and it's also the way Beastmaster farms and harasses. When Beastmaster is not banned, as a support, these are the easy ways to handle Beastmaster in lane. That said, if you play against good Beastmasters, they know what these heroes do, and they will try to play around your counter pick, and sometimes that can work decently in the laning stage. But here's the deal. A Beastmaster that does okay in the laning stage with axes is much less of a threat than one that doesn't, because it's his high ground siege that makes the heroes carry, not casting axes, so do not panic in case Beastmaster adapts to you. You're still making his life much harder than it would normally be, since he now lacks the slow of boars as well as the vision from the hawks to farm faster and to dominate the map. But are there more heroes that deal relatively well with this bad boy? Of course there are. Anything that can deal with his high ground and or siege is great. The AoE attack speed low from the likes of Phoenix and Jakiro are right now the second best option according to win rate. And usually heroes that abuse choke points in the high ground or Roshan like support Pangolier and Wyvern can sometimes change the tides of games as well. The problem with what we talked about though is that it assumes Beastmaster is already free to go high ground or to Roche, and because of that I don't think it's the best way to go about countering the hero, since that's exactly what he wants to do in the first place. I'm not going to take anything away from Beastmaster, but in my opinion the biggest reason this hero has higher than 50% win rate in every bracket, besides the fact he's broken, is the fact that people are just too lazy jungling and wasting time instead of addressing his push. Watch how Radiant approaches this Beastmaster. They send 3 heroes bottom even after losing the Phoenix, so they can protect and or delay the tower from being taken. Another important way to handle Beastmaster, especially before his Necro 3 is ready, is to preemptively ward the area you assume he will dominate. In this game, even though the bot tier 1 falls, by having this ward before the territory got dominated, it allowed Radiant to punish the Beastmaster farming their Ancients, which is something they often do when playing Dire. Speaking of vision from wards, you should not forget about the vision from the Hawks. So TPing sometimes to defend towers against 2 heroes is super dangerous, because it's very likely that a Hawk is already giving vision of that location before you even attempt to go there, and they will position accordingly. So we did talk about protecting the towers, but you know, if you see 2 heroes, it's probably already too dangerous to TP and try to defend, especially when Beastmaster is already level 6. Prior to making this video, I talked with Brax about the hero, and he gave me a high more insight on how to deal with the Beastie Boy. In his words, what you need versus Beastmaster is a hero wall. A wall is something that can tank a Primal Roar engagement or make Primal Roar really hard to be used. If Beastmaster cannot kill someone to take a tier 2 or tier 3, then the hero isn't actually that impressive. everything he does is related to pushing, and unless the game is already lost, he can't just go high ground without a kill or an Aegis, and that's true for almost any game. So although the hero is definitely really strong, he is still a hero. What are these wall heroes, and more importantly, how do you play so that they can actually counter Beastmaster? You want to have this hero in the same lane as Beastmaster, not necessarily from the laning stage, although it can be great to have it from the start. And when you think of a wall hero, maybe your mind jumps to tanky heroes, and that's a part of it, but not necessarily. PL is a great example of a hero that is not that tanky, but will be in the Beastmaster lane from the get-go, and is just hard to kill, because even finding the right PL to roar is hard. He can depush the wave Beastmaster is, not risk dying, and that's pretty much what you need. An example of a terrible hero to be in the Beastmaster lane is an Alchemist carry. He's just low armor, has no response to roar, and is just this big blob waiting to die and give Beastmaster what he wants. In this example, we can see that most of the Beastmaster allies are kinda close to him. Any kill could allow them to join a tier 2 top push, but because Bristleback is constantly mirroring where the Beastmaster is, they are not able to do anything. Another hero that is similar is Kunkka. He can clear the minions from far away, he has a damage reduction ability that often allows him to survive Primal Roar, so watch how Seb doesn't even attempt to roar him, and when he tries a couple of minutes later, he's nowhere near close of doing it. Seven Med constantly tried to kill the Kunkka with Roar, and even when he succeeded, the fights took so long that he ends up dead, and then the pushing power of Beastmaster is not available, and his team was not able to do much with the kill anyways. Heroes like Medusa that can tank a Primal Roar and then react with a fighting ability is actually what we're looking for. A Spectre that might die to a Primal Roar but has the chance to buy back Haunt back into the fight. A Venomancer that makes taking towers really hard once a fortress of Plague Wards is created. And a hero like Naga that, while not super tanky, can send her relatively strong illusions to deal with Beastmaster minions are just some examples of way you can deal with this guy. The real issue is preventing Beastmaster getting a kill, and then his whole team grouping behind him to slowly, or maybe not that slowly, chip into your buildings. By forcing Beastmaster into split push, red mode, you actually have a lot to gain. Think about it, Beastmaster is strong because of his auras and vision. If now he's split pushing lanes, not only you have numbers advantage if you decide to fight against the other 4 heroes, but you're also facing 4 much weaker heroes because of the lack of set auras.
I'm so... Oh my god, I'm so fucking unlucky!
Do you feel like this playing Dota sometimes? Losing can be really frustrating, especially when you are to blame. What if there was a way to pick heroes and playstyles so good and so fresh in the meta that no one can counter you? Follow my weekly easy MMR meta guide on Patreon to start abusing strategies I'm yet to make a guide of. By selecting this Patreon tier, you will have access to the freshest ideas I'm yet to make a video of, or ideas that are really good but I don't think make a good video but are still important. This will give you an edge versus any player in your brackets. The meta guide is available every Thursday, and if you join before this Thursday, you will get the chance to vote on a hero you want a guide of. Guys, thank you a lot for watching, commenting, and subscribing. If you want a more premium experience than my meta analysis on Patreon, you can DM me on Twitter to get the rates for my coaching. In case you started playing Dota because of the compendium or COVID-19, check our Discord channel, there's a lot of cool people there, and maybe if you're anxious playing Dota 2 by yourself, you can find people to do it with you. Finally, if you want to see me streaming, check my Twitch link. And in case you want to support the channel and you're not really interested about my meta guides, you can just check the other tiers and see if any of them interest you. Thank you a lot for watching. Have a good one. Bye, guys.